Another exciting edition of Big Talk on Global Television, a program where we'll highlight political issues concerning Nigeria. And tonight is about anti-corruption fights. The anti-graft agencies in Nigeria are going on as to who are those who are corrupt and how do we end corruption, and who are those that stole or took money or acted in ways they would not have acted while in offices. And the anti-graft agency says abuse of office, getting monies from kickbacks and all of that will be, properly looked at. And at the end of the day, maybe prosecution may come at the end of the day. Those are some of the issues we'll be discussing tonight on the program. My name is Ubong, in Abuja, and I'm saying welcome to Big Talk. Joining us live in our Abuja studios, who else but somebody who's been involved in anti-graft fight in Nigeria, former SHU President Muhammadu Buhari at the time, Chief Okoye Ogbonobla, who's joined us, a lawyer and also a political leader. Thank you so much for joining us, Chief.
Thank you, Bong. It's a pleasure.
All right, so let's go for a short break, and when we're back, we'll get straight to the discussion. This renewed zeal that we've seen towards politically exposed person. What are we hoping to gain from this fight of anti-corruption at the end of the day? We'll be right back after this break. All right, so the Nigeria's fight against anti-corruption has been a fight that we've seen at least from 1999. We saw General Olusegun Obasanjo, who later became Olusegun Obasanjo president from 1999, who was very serious about anti-corruption. I think one of the most popular, persons or politically exposed persons that had corruption issues and had to be arraigned at the time was the former Inspector General of Police, IGP, who was arrested for money laundering at the time, Tafa Balogun. That was at that time. And later we had other names. We had names like Alemeshia, we had Lucky Benedion and Joshua Darie, as were accused of anti-corruption at that time. Then the Jonathan era came. A lot of Nigerians complained that Jonathan was not serious with fighting corruption with Alison Madueke, the Danzuki Gate, and all of that. A lot of then Buhari came with the corruption mantra. I'm coming to fight corruption. Sambo Dasuki, the former NSA at that time, became the poster boy of the anti-corruption fight because he was arrested just a few weeks into Buhari's involvement in office for $2.1 billion US dollars arms deal scandal, and a lot of other names were involved. But in the Tinubu's era, we've seen multiple corruption allegations, and how former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs was accused of abuse of office and a few allegations, and she was asked to resign. Even though at the end of the day, she was suspended. Even though at the end of the day, maybe, I don't know if there's been a logical conclusion as to what that suspended led to, because there was no official remark as to what the presidency did concerning that particular case. But let's get now. We've seen Aminu Tambo, we've seen Grace Ngige today. We had it on the news. He will be spending maybe some night in Kuje before Monday, before his bail application will be listened to by the judge. The renewed drive of this government to fight corruption, is it a step in the right order? Of course, you were one of those who saw and who understood the machinery involved in fighting corruption as the former SA to the president, Muhammadu Buhari, who came with the mantra of corruption. At that time, you were leading public prosecution. You were the chairman of the asset recovery. So when it comes to corruption in Nigeria, of course, you know a lot about it. So let's talk about it.
Well, I don't think there's nothing wrong. The narrative has been twisted, by some people that only those who belong to opposition parties are called to account for their stewardship while in office. But if you look at the case of Chris Ngige, he was a former governor, a former senator, governorship candidate under APC, governorship candidate under ACN. ACN was the party of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that merged with two other political parties to form APC. So what am I saying? This is somebody who has been close to the president. Yes, from ACN to APC. So, and why did they go after him? Because it's contrary to the narrative that they are going after people who are members of the opposition political parties. Yes, I saw the press statement by Atiku Abubakar.
Right.
He was making that insinuation because of somebody who belongs to his party, who has been arrested and who is under incarceration by EFCC. So it is nonsensical. So I sometimes begin to wonder if you are really serious about the way our political leaders reason. Okay, so if you are saying, oh, your members have been, the anti-corruption agencies are after your members, what do we say about Chris Ngige? Yes, who is APC? Is a APC stalwart. I've mentioned that he has a lot of political citizenship with the president from ACN, Action Congress of Nigeria, to APC. So I don't think that narrative is interesting to Nigerians. We don't want to hear that. But if that is the case, then everybody, when you are in office in a particular regime, you have to be careful. Because if you know that the incoming regime will come after you. So if it is a political, persecution of people belonging to rival political parties, maybe if that will take us to the promised land. So be it. So that everybody who is in government will be careful, because you know that one day the judgment day will come, they will ask you to render account, or they will look at what you did while you were in office.
Right.
So when we continue like that, in that circle, then we are going to internalize the essence of having clean government, of not putting your hands into the till where you are occupying a particular position, or while you are serving in government.
Right. So I'd like to ask, the APC administration, came into power selling the mantra of anti-corruption to Nigerians, and a lot of persons believe that with the war against indiscipline that was at the time, being brought in by late former President Muhammadu Buhari, he's going to bring in the same energy to fight corruption. But in that era, the Buhari era, did the APC succeed in fighting corruption in Nigeria?
Well, I don't understand what you mean by succeed. It's how will I put it? It's an ongoing business. Right. Yes, I have told you previously that there is nowhere in the globe where there is no corruption. Even the so-called advanced democracies, even the US, you saw what the current president, what he passed through. he was convicted, So, the most important thing is that if an allegation is made against you, or if they suspect that you are corrupt, then they come after you. They put you, they prosecute you, and at the end of the day, nobody will say, oh, because I belong to the Democratic Party, or because somebody is trying to weaponize the fight against corruption. So, if you ask me if APC has done well.
As regards fighting corruption?
Yes, we have seen a lot of, cases, unlike, during the PDP time, or during Jonathan's time, during Yar'Adua's time, even during Obasanjo's time. So, I think it's an ongoing business, and I have seen some seriousness. And why are we crying foul? If we want corruption to be addressed, to be tackled, then if anti-corruption agencies come out of their slumber and start going on the offensive, why are we saying that it's because of politics? Why are they going after politicians? So every person who is politically exposed They are not only politicians. Anybody who is holding a government office is a politically exposed person. Anybody who is in the private sector who is holding a big office is a politically exposed person. Any person who is an executive in a political party is a politically exposed person. So there is this impression that they are going after only politicians. I mean, that impression is
But you are a member of the APC.
Yes.
And there's a narrative, I don't know if you've seen it on social media, and some Nigerians are saying, Aminu Tambuwal, Malami, former AGF, and now you talked about the fact that Chris Ngige is a member of the APC, but persons pointed out that there was a confrontation between James Falake, who was a prodigy of the president at the time, and Chris Ngige, and there were statements made as to even your boss as a governor, he was a governor, comparison, and maybe because he's not in the good books of the president, but that's not what I'm asking. I want to ask now, before I even go there, I like to ask, in Nigeria, do institutions that fight corruption, are they used to victimize people? In your experience in the Nigerian community, the Nigerian society?
Have you seen the U.S. experience since Trump came into power? He went after the Attorney General of New York. He went after the FBI director. And these are people that fell out with him, or, when he had a matter that led to his conviction, it was the Attorney General of New York City, or New York State, that went after him, who prosecuted him. So like what he's trying to do now is trying to, settle scores with everybody who had a hand in his prosecution, or anybody who disagreed with him. So be it. So what's wrong with that? So that's what I'm saying. If you are in government today, that the incoming government will go after you, then you have to be careful. You have to be careful. You have to call your tracks. You have to ensure that when you don't get into trouble or do anything that will make an incoming regime to go after you. So what is wrong with that? What is wrong with Tambuwal? What is wrong with him? If he was governor and they said allegations were made against him, so why not? So why are you saying that because he's a member of the opposition? Why are you saying this person is a member of the opposition? So if he's a member of the opposition, we shouldn't go after him. People should go after him too. If they take over, if ADC take over, then they come after people who are serving in this government. So if that will reduce corruption in Nigeria, so be it. So that is my own perspective. So not people going to social media to make noise. So sometimes I wonder if we are really serious about addressing corruption in Nigeria. Because Nigerians, I don't think they are serious. Because we romance corruption. We embrace corruption.
In what way, Chief?
Yes. In Nigeria today, if you are in politics and you want to go to the Senate, you want to be governor, you want to be this and that, if you don't have money, you cannot make it. No matter how brilliant your ideas are, or your program, or manifesto, or how committed you are, how dedicated you are, how idealistic you are, how intelligent you are. Nobody will want to do business with you if you do not dole out money. So why should you expect somebody to dole out money to you to get into public office, or to command your respect, or to get your vote? If I dole out money, it's most likely that when I get into public office, I would like to recoup that money, and I may put my hands into a public till. So if corruption is revolting to us, we shouldn't do that. If we really want corruption to be addressed, we should stop demanding money from politicians. We should stop expecting gifts from politicians. Christmas is coming. It's just around the corner. A lot of Nigerians will want their senators to give them rice, to give them cows, to give them chickens, to give them clothes, give them money, even vehicles. They will expect members of the House of Reps to do the same, members of the House of Assembly to do the same, expect governors to do the same. If you don't do that, you become unpopular. Okay, and they will dismiss you as wicked, you are selfish, you don't want to help the poor people, or you are just self-centered. So that is it. So if we don't want corruption, we shouldn't expect senators to give us all these monies or give us vehicles. They call it empowerment. where is this money coming from? What is a senator earning that he should have so much money to do empowerment, the so-called empowerment, doling out cars, machines, and so forth and so on? You know, so that shows that we love corruption. We love corruption.
So what you are saying, Barrister, is that it's a people's problem. It's not a government problem.
Well, yes. What is government? Now, Nigeria is made up of different strata of society. In the society, you have so many people. You know, those in government, those who are not in government, in the private sector. Are they clean? Even the person who sells fuel in the filling station, or even the POS operator who will charge you. Like today, you know, they charge you 300 naira or 500 naira because you want to withdraw maybe 5,000, 10,000 naira. That is corruption. What is corruption? Corruption is if you don't do things properly in accordance with what the law says. Yes.
Right. So, still staying with your party, APC. So what you are saying is that some of these Nigerians who are asking that the APC start from home. Let's see those who are in the APC, and they mention some names.
Yeah, but that's what they are doing, and then people are
mentioning some names. That Yahaya Bello. They are mentioning a few other names.
Yeah, but Bello's matter is in court, and we shouldn't discuss it here. But it's in court. Is he not an APC member?
And saying we've not seen anything.
Well,
he's been in
court. He has been charged to court. You see, cases it takes time. Okay, it's not a tea party. And that is the problem with us. We are very impatient. So let us be patient and give the anti-corruption agencies, the prosecutors, the time. You know, the process has to be fair. Nobody will be menaced or will be subjected to a kangaroo trial, you know, because his allegations have been made against him that is corrupt. Sometimes those allegations don't hold water. So the court has to take its time. The person must have a lawyer. Even if he doesn't have a lawyer, the court is enjoined to give him a lawyer. So at the end of the day, the two parties will fight. The prosecution will present its case. After its case, the defendant will defend himself, and then the judge will rule. It takes time. So it is not because the anti-corruption agencies are not willing or to prosecute people, but it takes time because the process has to be fair, so that everybody will have confidence in the process, that if I'm charged with court and I am ready and I defend myself well, I can go home free.
Right. So people are there's also concern about the fact that should we have special courts for corruption cases to fast track the trial process, because it seems Nigerians want to see people that are sentenced and okay, this person, this person, that person, and they can point to persons, and that will also serve as a deterrent to others who may want to put their hands into public funds. If we want to establish special courts, if you think that will be the panacea.
Well, you don't think so. Well, it will require a constitutional amendment. Right. Because what you have in the Constitution is the High Court, State High Court, Federal High Court, High Court of the Federal Capital Territory. Those courts are created by the Constitution. So if you want special criminal courts, then that we have to amend, the Constitution has to be amended to make provisions for that. It's not something that the Chief Judge of a state or the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court of the Federal Capital Territory or the Chief Justice of Nigeria can by fiat create special courts. But even the Lagos model is very attractive. Okay, the Lagos model is that certain courts, certain judges are given, are assigned to handle criminal cases. So certain divisions of the High Court, they are, empowered to, hear only corruption cases, to fast track them. And Lagos is doing that. So we can have that. Let's have that in all other states. But most times the states are not even ambivalent. So that is why I'm saying that there must be consensus of the elites on this corruption. Right. Yeah, because there's no consensus. Okay, why are we not having EFCC equivalent in the states or ICPC in the states? The states are very corrupt. The local governments are very corrupt. Like nobody is talking about them. Every attention is focused on the federal government. Yes, but The federal government controls only Abuja. The other states have 36 old states, almost 98% of Nigeria. So why are we not seeing these things being replicated in the states? Even the political party that is in power, is there a consensus among members of the APC both at the national level and the state level, if at the local government level, that we have to address the issue of corruption? So there's no consensus on that. So we have to forge the consensus. What will make us forge the consensus? The people, Nigerians. Right. Yes, Nigerians have to force the political. Buhari came on board and there was like, there was going to be a lot of intensity. The Nigerians were complaining. Some people were even saying that the economy was going down because government was concentrating more on the fight against corruption. So you can imagine that. So that lack of consensus among Nigerians, that we have to address corruption, that corruption is a problem in Nigeria.
Right. So Chief, you just mentioned something, and that's the subnational, right? As to how much goes into the state, who tracks the money, who monitors the state, and what happens at that level, even the local government.
Let me give you an example. Right. Look, I come from Yakka in Cross River State. My own town is Ugep. The local government chairman is somebody called a neighboring town to Ugep, about maybe 10 minutes drive or so. I made a request under FOI, Freedom of Information, that I want you to give me the records, certified true copies of monetary allocation from the Federation account to Yakka Local Government Council from November 2024, when you took over, when you were inaugurated, to November 2025. But you know the interesting thing? The people from his community, where he comes from, Ekori, they are now saying that I'm tribalistic, that because the chairman is not from Ugep, he's from Ekori, that is why I'm going after him. So you can imagine that kind of mindset, that kind of mentality, and they have been using that to, insult me on social media. So you can imagine what I am doing. I want to help people from my local government area. One of the most educated people in Cross River State are Yakka people. And the local government is there, and I live very close to the local government headquarters. But there's something to show for. Since the local government was created in 1991, all the revenue they have been getting from the Federation account, nothing to show for. The local governments cannot do roads. They cannot do sanitation. So that is the issue. If Nigerians really hate corruption, why would people begin to accuse me of being tribalistic? Because the local government chairman is not from my community, he's from an opposite community, and I'm asking him, just render account. I have not accused him of embezzlement. I said, just tell us, because we know that the president has been saying that he has empowered the states and the local governments more than ever before. More than ever in the last 25 years. And we want to know, how much have you collected? And what have you done with this money? And then it's a problem. People are reading tribal meanings, into it. So that is the problem with Nigeria. So if we are serious about corruption, somebody wants him to render account, or somebody is asking one or two questions, and then you should not come out and begin to say, you are fighting my brother. Okay? So that is the issue. Right. So and you see that in the large at the national level, where some people begin to invoke ethnic sentiments, sectional sentiments, because somebody from your ethnic group or somebody from your part of the country is arrested, and you're saying, why are you coming after my brother? Why are you coming after my brother? So that is why I am saying that we are not serious about corruption. Because if we were serious about corruption, we would look beyond where somebody comes from. Because the money doesn't belong to ethnic group, it belongs to everybody. So if the person takes the money, he's going after everybody from whatever ethnic group that person comes from. So if we look at things from a nationalistic perspective, not this clannishness, tribalism, ethnicity, sectionalism, then this country will become a better place, because people defend people who are corrupt because they come from the ethnic groups. Right. Shouldn't be.
Right, so let's talk a bit about the subnational, that's the states, before we go for our first break. You mentioned the states, that the states have allocations, and nobody seems to be looking at it, and nobody seems to be talking to the local government chairman as to what they are doing with the allocation and all of that. But it seems that the people, because you talked about the fact that, we have the ICPC, but EFCC, but we don't have the equivalent at the states. So it seems that most persons are incapacitated as to what do we do. So what can they do in this regard to hold elected officials at the state level, at the local government level to account?
Firstly, we have to look for committed, dedicated people, passionate people, transparent people, people who are patriotic, and vote them into office. When you vote these kind of people into office, they will, when they get to the state assembly, they will see the need, the imperative of setting up an anti-corruption agency or commission at the state level to fight corruption. But we don't have that. Everything is being given to the federal government. And the federal government cannot be everywhere. If you have agencies, anti-corruption agencies at the state level, then those agencies will be closer to those who are local assemblymen, who are local government chairmen, who are councillors, who are civil servants in those states. And if they are close to them, they will be able to police, them. And so even to see those who are living beyond their means. Because we know people who are corrupt in Nigeria. We know, but we make, we turn a blind eye.
We know people who are corrupt in Nigeria?
Yes, because if I go into government, I declare my assets. When they were asking questions, I said, okay, this is what I declared. Anybody who has knowledge of where I have a house or where I have any property outside what I declared in my asset declaration form should report me or should mention or give information to the anti-corruption agencies to come after me. So if we take that approach, we will help the government to fight corruption. If somebody is a member of the House of Reps from your area, and as soon as he gets into office, he starts building a big mansion in Calabar, mansionette. You should know that. You should ask, where is the money coming from? And you, as a good citizen, should report him. But now they make it as if you report somebody who is corrupt, you are a wicked person, or you don't want somebody to progress. I've just told you about merely asking a local government chairman, my local government chairman, to give me records of how much he has collected from the Federation account. It's a problem. Some people are saying that because it's not from my own community, that is why I'm after him. So you can't see that kind of mentality. So that is why I'm saying that, I've been saying that there's no consensus on corruption. We will not make any headway, no matter how hard the anti-corruption agencies go after corrupt people, if you don't have Nigerians who are passionate, who are committed, who will support the anti-corruption agencies in their fight against corruption.
Right, so let's go for a break. But when we'll come back, Chief, I'll ask you about the president appointing those who lead the anti-corruption agency. Is that what we should be doing? Because people have mentioned the same with INEC. Should we allow it for a president who will also be seeking an election under the same INEC chairman? But those are questions we'll ask after the break. Let's go for this break. We'll be right back. Good evening and welcome to another exciting edition of Big Talk. Tonight on the program,
as always, it's a pleasure to have you join us here on Global Morning. I am Uyi Alpo.
You know how we do it on Teacher Post Extra, bringing you all the...
On the desk this evening, we have very topical issues to discuss, and of course...
Welcome to your parliamentary program, The Parliament.
A joyful home doesn't happen by chance. It is built on...
Women can rise beyond traditional boundaries to claim their rightful place as
a numerous committee, about more than 12 committees.
Face to Face is a program that comes to you once in a week at about this time, where we look into issues and discuss them. It gives you the opportunity to
world leaders in United
Welcome
Nigeria
to Entertainment Circle.
And trust me, today you're about to get entertained.
Hello everyone and welcome to the program Talk Sports here on Global Television.
Talk Zone is that platform where we bring young and talented artists.
Stay tuned, stay inspired, stay with Global Television on DSTV Channel 365, on Star Times Channel 276.
Welcome back to the program. If you're just joining us, this is Big Talk, a program where we'll highlight political issues concerning Nigeria. Tonight on the program, we're looking at anti-graft war against corruption and what it means, especially the rising arrest of politically exposed persons that we have in Nigeria. A lot of names have been placed on the table. A former governor of Sokoto, Aminu Tambuwal, was called for questioning the other time. And of recent, we've had a former AGF, Malami, who has spent some nights, as of today, more than 3 nights in the DSS, the EFCC custody. And we've also had yesterday, we saw Chris Ngige, former Minister of Labour and Employment, was arrested. At the time, they said he was kidnapped, but later we got information that it wasn't a kidnap. And as of today, we saw his lawyers come out to tell people that, yes, he's been told by the judge to be remanded at Kuje prison here, awaiting his jail, awaiting his bail application to be listened to by the court on Monday. So we have in the studio Okoye Ogbonna-Obla, former SA to President Muhammadu Buhari, former President Muhammadu Buhari, on public prosecution. He was chairman of the task force on recovery assets. He's joined us live in Abuja today. Thank you so much, Chief, for staying.
Yes, you were talking about Timothy Silva.
Right.
It's at the APC Shift 10. It's also under investigation. As a matter of fact, the EFCC declared him wanted. So all these.
But is he supporting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
No, he doesn't. But he's an APC person. Right. I don't know what you mean by is even supporting. The president. Every member of APC supports the president because he's our president. He's the leader of the party. If you are not in support of the president, or if you are so revolted that President Tinubu is president, then you resign from the party to join another party. But as long as you are in APC, I will take it that you are supporting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu because the leader of the party.
So, but before we go on the break, I just asked the question, and the question I asked was about the fact that what do we do at that subnational level to see more proactiveness as to fighting corruption?
Yes.
What tools are available for reporting, or what can the masses do at that particular level?
Yes, I have mentioned that when you see anybody living beyond his means, a local government chairman who gets into office, less than 2 years, you are erecting a massive house, okay? You are throwing big parties, big barriers, that ordinarily will take a lot of money. Ordinarily, your allowances, your salary will not afford. Then that tells us that that person must have put his hands into government money or public money, and then we should report. And people should not think that those who demand accountability, transparency are wicked people or who do not want people to progress, because that is a mentality. That's our mindset at the local level, and it could also be very painful. It could also be put pressure on people who are ready, to fight corruption at the grassroots level. Because if they begin to create the impression that, oh, you are a wicked person, you don't want people to progress, then everybody will begin to hate you. They will, so that is it. So when we want to fight corruption at that level, our traditional rulers should be involved. The churches or mosques should also be involved. Market women, everybody, every strata of society at the grassroots level should be involved. And people should not think that when you have arrived, or for them to have money, they have to be close to you. They have to be sycophantic. Okay, they have to clap for you. So that you must come home with something when you leave office, because sometimes when you leave office, people will begin to throw stones at you if you were not able to grease their palms with money.
Right.
Give them money, give them vehicles, give them houses. Throw parties for them. Or sponsor marriages. Birthday parties. Oh, you are wicked. You are selfish. So that is it.
Right. So I know you've you know a lot about this, but let's talk about the Nigerian political elites. What encourages? You've talked about the masses not, being demanding enough as to making people stop corruption. But as a people, what is that motivating factor towards stealing? Is it poverty? Because at the rate at which we have, especially misappropriation of funds, right? And just the other.
It is not poverty. See, it is who we are. People do not change drastically when they get into public office. Those who change are who they are. Yes. It is not the office that is going to change them, but they are opportunistic. They may pretend to be good, but when they get into office and they are exposed to money, they are exposed to perks, government privileges. So there's a lot of privileges you get when you are in government, when you are holding office. So if you are somebody who is contented, somebody who is not greedy, somebody who is covetous, you will be satisfied with the perks you get, even the respect, the privileges, you get when you hold public office, and when you get out, you can benefit, and you will see that in America. Right. If you are a secretary or a governor, and a congressman or senator, when you leave office, the private sector will be looking for you. They want you to sit on their board, so that people will know that, oh, this person was a politically exposed person, was an influential person, and you sit on their board to help that private sector company, organization to grow.
Right. So one of the major things that talk about corruption, and you see it very visibly Like the other day in Anambra State, my colleagues were there, and we saw videos of people buying votes in broad daylight across parties. How do we stop this culture? Because as the political party, sometimes we don't even talk about political party misappropriation, but there are questions as to PDP, questions as to APC, as to mismanagement of even party funds. How do we stop it at that particular level, the political party level, stopping corruption at that level?
Yes, I have told you what is lacking in our political parties. Our political parties are supposed to be vehicles for political education, vehicles to cultivate patriotism, transparency, accountability, on good citizenship. They are not doing that. And the people too, who are these people collecting money? It's Nigerians at the lowest level.
Well, Nigerians who don't have food.
No, I don't think it's because they don't have food. It's not because they don't have food. They just want easy money. We love easy money. Yes, most of these people are farmers. Look, I have told you they're receiving more money at the local level than in Abuja. Sometimes when I go home, I run out of money. But the local people, the traders, people who make money every day, every hour, they give me money. My relations at that level, they give you money if you want. More than somebody who is in Abuja, So that is, I don't think people lack food to that extent that they will have to collect money before they vote. People just love money, to get money, free meals. So we love it. It's a culture that has been cultivated, and that culture started in 1999 when politics, the military left politics to return back to the barracks, and then the political party that was in power tried to cultivate the people by doling out money. Okay, and you can see the subsidy that was taken away, and at the beginning it was as if the country will collapse. The country didn't collapse. And everything is organizing today.
People complain a lot about that as to how it affected the masses.
People still have 5 cars, 10 cars. Look, in my estate, there are some neighbors who have 10 cars. Yes, if the issue is about fuel is very expensive, why will you keep 10 cars? What are you going to do with 10 cars? Because at every point in time, you drive 1 car. And that is also the mindset of some Nigerians. You want to have a house in Kano, Calabar, Uyo, you go to Ekpene, Eket, Ogoja, you come all over the place. You want to have a house in Dubai, and you want to have a massive house that of 200 rooms or 20 rooms. 30, what are you going to do with that? At every point in time, you will sleep in 1 small room. So this greed, it's some people are insatiable. You want to live beyond your means. You don't want to cut a coat according to your size.
Right. So Chief, when you see the rate at which or at the amount of money that has been stolen or looted from the country over time, are you not scared for Nigeria? But I'd like to ask about your experience when you were leading the presidential team as a chairman of the asset recovery. That was fighting corruption in a lot of ways. What was your experience like?
My experience is that Nigerians are not ready. Because if those who are being given the power to fight corruption are even endangered. Okay, you saw
they are complicit. There are reports. Some Nigerians believe that they are complicit.
No, I don't think so. Maybe some. In every situation or every society or every organization, you find some people who are bad eggs. You also find some people who are good. Right. I don't think all the anti-corruption fighters in Nigeria are bad, but you see the reprisals, that have been visited on those who really want to fight corruption. For instance, the National Security Advisor, and all the chairmen of EFCC. Okay, when you go there, before you come out, you are stigmatized, even though you may not have done anything. So that is it. So if these corruption people who have been given corruption, who have been given office or positions to fight corruption, they have to be protected. It's a difficult fight, okay? Because you have to step on toes. And people will try to influence you. I think I can mention people who are trying to influence me. Yes, people in government were also trying to influence you. And if you don't oblige them,
do you want to give us names?
No, well, it's it's a bygone. Let's keep in those lies. But I had a lot of ministers. For instance, one of the guy who went after was a director of a company that owns a block. When I arrested him, and then I had a lot of phone calls. And then one lady came to my office. I said, "Look, I'm from the so place, the villa. Oh, that man you took away. He attends a big man's church, so release him. And then even a minister from my part of the country called me. I said, "Oh, who is that man?" And the man, he said, "Lawyer." He was a lawyer. And I said, "Look, you trained in one of the best universities, in the world as a lawyer. You know what we call lifting of the corporate veil." Yes, because he was saying that it's a mass company that committed the offense. I said, no. If a company is used to perpetuate fraud, you will lift, if you want to investigate that company, you lift what we call the corporate veil and see the directors of that company and go after them. So that is it. Right. So that is why I am saying that it's not easy to fight corruption. It is not easy to fight corruption in a country like Nigeria.
But there's hope for Nigeria as we end the program now. Is there hope?
Oh, I am very optimistic that we'll come out of the woods.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm very optimistic.
The
country has a lot of potentials. The country has a lot of energy. People are hardworking and they are very resilient. There shall come a time when we'll have the right leadership, And the leadership is not just the president. He's doing very well. I mean, he's doing very well. I mean, he is also fighting corruption. So look, he is also fighting corruption. So look, corruption is not just about arresting people. Corruption is not just about arresting people. But what the president has put in place to block the leakages in the economy, for instance, subsidy, withdrawal of subsidy, it's a form of subsidy. Withdrawal of subsidy. It's a form of fighting corruption. The tax regime also to carry out reforms, to carry out reforms, that will bring about the clean government, that will make corruption unattractive. For instance, one of the weapons of fighting corruption is the credit card system, which the president has introduced. So if you are a civil servant or in the private sector, as long as you have a job, and that money will be taken from wherever you are working.
Thank you so much.
So that is the way